Ginger Genes. We join you tonight with best-selling author Melinda Barkley with her best-selling book, What Can Genetics Do for You? Thank you for joining us this evening, Melinda. Of course. Oh, I know you've written some articles about genetics in the past. Do you care to explain the basics of genetics to our viewers who might not know as much?
Certainly, Ginger. Genetics are the building blocks of human existence. They tell you what hair color you have or what eye color you have. They make you you.
Tell us, what is your new book about exactly?
My book goes more in depth about genetic engineering.
Fascinating. Do you care to explain?
Well, sure. Genetic engineering is the reshuffling of genes, usually from one species to another. There's a set of techniques used to cut DNA, either in a specific place or in random places. Once isolated, one can study the different segments of DNA, multiply them, and stick them into another DNA of another cell or organism. Genetic engineering makes it possible to break through a species barrier and shuffle information between completely unrelated species. But of course, there are downfalls to this. We cannot tell what the new gene's role and behavior are in the organism it came from, or what it might do if we place it in a completely different species. We also know very little about what a gene might trigger or interrupt depending on where it gets placed into the new host. There are many questions that need to be answered before we can tell if genetic engineering really is a good idea.
That is some intriguing information. Tell us, where can interested viewers find more information?
For more information, you can check out my book, What Can Genetic Engineering Do for You?
Thank you for enlightening us this evening, Melinda.
Of course.
For our next topic, we will have a debate about the benefits and drawbacks of genetic engineering. Here to discuss this controversial subject is Charlotte Silver, salutations, and environmentalist Savannah Wadsworth.
Hello. According to an article written by Rakesh S. Shedron, PhD, who is an IPM specialist, so he knows what he's talking about, some genetically engineered crops are capable of resisting pests and generating higher yields for farmers, while producing cheaper food with higher nutrients.
What you're suggesting would increase our dependence on pesticides. The article that you just cited from states that there are risks towards our ecosystem. The risks are called genetic pollution, which is when transgenes flow into organisms through pollution, which causes danger to our ecosystem. Once the genes are released, it's hard to recall them back. Some organisms have been a nuisance, although they're originally introduced as a biological control, like the Japanese ladybug.
Rakesh also noted that possible benefit of transgenic crops or animals is that they can be bred for desirable traits, unlike the Japanese ladybug, which does not contain desirable traits. And it is faster than when traditional breeding methods are used. Certain transgenic crops can also have higher nutrients and vitamins, which can help.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to cut you off, Ms. Silver. I've just been told that our viewers would like to hear more about genetic engineering in humans.
I'll go first. In an article that I found on gm.org sums up my belief about why genetic engineering, specifically inheritable genetic modification, is a bad idea. Inheritable modification refers to the technology of changing the genes that are passed on to the next generations of species. The genetic alterations would be made in sperm, egg, or early embryos. If people begin to use inheritable genetic modification, or IGM, this would make people more like objects. Parents could sculpt their children into perfect molds, which only well-off parents would be able to do, and then they'd get these upgrades. Kids would be smarter and more athletic.
Savannah, do you have anything to say about genetic engineering?
Of course I do. What do you think? Well, okay, Savannah, this is my side of the story, and I got this from the same article that you did, off of gm.com. Inheritable genetic modification could prevent genetic diseases from being passed down from parents to their offspring. And this is a great technology that can help many people. This can prevent certain health issues, and it can also just help people in general. It's not all about creating your perfect, ideal child. It's helping people, okay? And this great technology, if people realize that it's out there, then they're going to start abusing it and going to black markets to get it. The government might as well make it legal while they can. So that's all I have to say.
Well, it seems we have run out of time today. Thank you both for your insightful views. Back to you.